Howdy, folks. I'm Peeved Phoenix, proudly persevering through pyrotechnic problems.
I'm Amber.
And here are more, hopefully not, pyrotechnic problems for us to persevere through. It's all on fire. What can you expect out of a Thursday? Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making Up Weird Stuff About My Ex-Boyfriend, who I never was intimate with after he told everyone that we were. I'm an 18-year-old female, and I was dating Carl, an 18-year-old, until last Christmas. I bought him a nice, thoughtful gift, and he got me nothing. We had been dating for about 6 months, and he said that he didn't think that we were at the gift-giving stage. Whatever, I was single for New Year's Eve. I recently found out that he is telling everyone that we were intimate together. We weren't. Now, my friends are bugging me about it, since I still claim to be a virgin. Rather than fight the rumors, I have been adding increasingly more ridiculous claims that he likes during intimate time. Now, he is mad with me for lying about them. He tried telling everyone that I'm lying, but I have seen him naked, and I can tell the truth about his body. For example, he has a very big birthmark on his hip area, but you can't see it if he has a bathing suit on. I know that I'm being petty, and I was planning on sleeping with him on New Year's Eve, but I'm conflicted, but I think that he deserves it. Alright, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, it was really rude and uncool of him to start lying about what you two did. And so to a point where your friends, like, I don't like that your friends just believed him over you. That right there is really sus, and says you may need some new friends. But it was completely inappropriate for him to do this, and it seems like your only ammunition was to humiliate him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't necessarily agree with the lying in the situation, and I don't know that two wrongs make a right. But I also think that OP was kind of in a tough spot about this, and I know that maybe making these claims up will make him reevaluate his position to actually just be like, I was lying about this or whatnot, right?
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is he needs to understand why this isn't okay, because it tends to be that women are judged more harshly for choosing to have intimate time or not. And so for him, he's making up this lie about what OP did with her body. He's taking away her ability to claim what she has done or hasn't done.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to understand how hurtful it is. And I just feel it's kind of like it puts him on the same level as OP now. Like, now he can feel how much it hurts to have someone make up lies about you and what you've done with your body.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that this is kind of a difficult situation. I understand why OP did what they did, and it is, it's just hard. It's hard. I mean, I think that OP might be a justified jerk in the situation. Amber's like, fully justified.
He had it coming.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, folks, then our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Telling My Boyfriend of 2 years that I'm infertile? And Amber wants to read this one.
I honestly can't believe I am even in this situation or that I am writing this post. Before I get flooded with "you're the jerks," I need to point out that I am openly child-free by choice. I told my boyfriend I do not want kids on date 1. He even said he agrees. He claimed he didn't even like children. Not only am I child-free by choice, I openly talk about it. I have mostly child-free friends and even talk with him repeatedly about not wanting to have children. Often. Now back to the story. Around the age of 28, I found out I needed a medical procedure which would make me infertile. I don't want to say why or what exactly it was here because it's a little too specific, and I don't want everyone I know to recognize it's me, but long story short, it's impossible for me to get pregnant. Not unlikely, but very, very impossible. I was actually happy about that because, again, I don't want children, so it lifted some stress for me of accidental pregnancy. Recently, one of my friends became very accidentally pregnant. She is now in a bad state emotionally and looking at options. My boyfriend actually said something like, "It's odd how we still haven't had an accidental pregnancy." I laughed a little and replied something along the lines of, "Right? That's why I'm glad I can't get pregnant." He actually looked at me shocked and asked what I meant. I told him the whole story and he became very angry. Started screaming, "How could you lie to me like that? And how could you keep it from me?" I was confused because while I could understand being maybe upset about not knowing something that personal about me, it really shouldn't warrant screaming in that kind of anger. After some back and forth, he said he actually thought I would change my mind about kids, that he would change my mind, and even if he couldn't, then a baby would, that he wasted 2 years with me. I was shocked and basically stormed out and left. We don't live together. Now even his mother sent me a passive-aggressive message about leading men on and wasting her son's time. At first I was just angry, but am I the jerk too? Should I have told him about it being impossible to have kids? I feel like he was a jerk, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. The relationship definitely is over, but I need closure from outside perspectives because I don't even want to talk this out after what he said. Though from now on I will 100% tell men I'm infertile. I thought my definite choice of no kids was enough. Small update to answer common questions. Did we use condoms? Yes, we don't live together, and I was clear with him that until we are fully committed, aka at the very least living together, condoms are non-negotiable. I know too many stories of husbands cheating for me to risk getting a serious STD because he had a lapse in judgment. Like I trust other drivers not to hit me, but I still wear a seatbelt. Why didn't you tell him? I'm not the most sharing person overall. I know. Communication is key. Gotta work on that. But also, I just don't like talking about that time period. It was scary and very painful in some aspects. I'm now glad it happened, but back then it was rough. I avoided that topic, so that's on me. I probably should have simply told him about infertility, but I don't want questions of why, how, when. Most of my loved ones know simply because they were there when it happened.
All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, but OP, it sounds like you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
It sounds like this man wanted to accidentally impregnate you. His whole comment makes me wondering if he's been sabotaging their birth control this entire time.
Yeah, that's a very good point, a very good question. Maybe he has been sabotaging her birth control, and he's questioning, like, why isn't she getting pregnant or something like that.
Yeah, well, and his whole thing about how, well, if I couldn't convince you, then a baby would. Like, it sounds like he fully intended to get her knocked up without her consent.
Yeah, and maybe the fact that they were using protection like this, he was under the impression that she could get pregnant, didn't understand that she was not actually able to. I don't think that OP was wrong for not sharing this information. I don't think that it was necessarily... I mean, I guess, like, this is something that you could talk to a partner about, but if you're upfront that you don't want children, period, then that is kind of an end of a discussion at that point in time in some respects, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's like your partner doesn't necessarily need to know all the intimate details of your medical history. You know, if you had to have open heart surgery as a child, you don't necessarily need to tell your partner that if it's not going to affect your day-to-day life now, you know? And so I think Opie had this procedure done. It doesn't affect, you know, their relationship in any way because she's been upfront. She doesn't want kids. Why would she have to dig up this painful time in her life just to explain to him, oh yeah, I actually can't have kids? Why should she not assume that he is being open and honest about his desire not to have kids?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's another thing. Is like, while he's claiming that OP wasted her time, he actually wasted OP's time, right? And this is all, every accusation is a confession on his part, right? Like, he's actually, all the things he's like accusing OP of doing, he did himself. And it's just absolutely hypocritical of him to claim that OP's wasting time, or that they should have told him, or any number of things, because he didn't tell her that he thought he could change her mind about babies.
Right. I mean, if you want kids, then be with a partner who wants kids. Don't try and manipulate people into having children.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? My husband wants a divorce and wants us to keep the house. My husband is 32 and I'm 30, and we've been married for 10 years. Recently, he told me that he wanted a divorce because he wasn't happy. He came to the conclusion that he never really wanted to be married and wants to focus on his military career. I had always supported his career. I asked him for couples therapy because all of the problems he said that we had were things that could be fixed, but he refused and says that the marriage can't be fixed. I have no choice but to let him go. However, he believes that him and I can still live in our house and live our separate lives, and he's already dating a girl from work. I cannot do this. When I told him that I wasn't comfortable with him dating yet, he accused me of wanting to prevent him from moving on. I made it clear that if he wishes to date, he can do so, but I will not sit here and watch him do it because it kills me. I told him that I need to get away from him so that I can heal, and I refuse to live in the house while he goes off and starts a whole new life while somehow maintaining his old one. I told him that I want to sell the house, and he's accusing me of trying to ruin him financially, especially because our mortgage is so low. I'm currently half a year away from my bachelor's degree. That would allow me to find a steady job, as the job that I currently have does not pay enough for me to live on my own. However, I have a large support system that is willing to help me. So basically what I'm asking is, am I the jerk for wanting to move on with my life, even if it means to force him to sell the house? Edit to add some details. Our marriage hasn't been great for a while, and I knew this, so the last 6 months I've been trying to fix things. However, he has told me that he wanted a divorce months ago and was building up to the courage to ask for a divorce. I know that what he's asking for is delusional, but I guess I feel bad because he gave me a portion of his GI Bill for my schooling, which he's now threatening to take away. That's not a big deal because, again, I have a good support system. I'm graduating with a science degree in my area, and I know that I can find a good job. He just assumed that since we've always been able to get along well, that I would go along with his plan. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I mean, I think it's way too much to ask your ex-partner to live in a house while you're actively dating someone new. I mean, even if they didn't bring other partners, once you dissolve a relationship, it can be really, really hard to cohabitate with a person who used to be so much to you.
Yeah.
And so I understand wanting to have a house with a low mortgage rate, but he has to choose. Is the house worth more, or is living the life he wants worth more?
I think this guy just wants his cake and to have
Absolutely.
it too. Right?
I want the girlfriend, but I want the house, and
And maybe even OP too on the occasion,
Yeah.
right? And I think that this is really what it boils down to. Their relationship isn't so much broken as he wants a open relationship and to be able to sow his wild oats and stuff like that and do whatever he wants without any consequences. And there are consequences to ending a relationship. And he has to deal with those consequences. OP isn't ruining him financially. He is choosing to move on from this relationship.
Right, that's the natural thing that happens when two people separate, is oftentimes they have to sell the house, whether that's ideal or not, to divide up the assets. And so again, he is the one who chose to dissolve the marriage and chose to move on. He has to accept that he loses the house as part of that.
Yeah.
With new adventures oftentimes come losses, and you gotta weigh the benefits and pros and cons.
And there's another thing he can do. He can buy out her portion of equity. And if he's willing to do that, then, maybe that will go along smoother and he can keep the house and his low mortgage rate. But it's going to put him back for some time, right? So there are always going to be consequences for actions. And it's fine if you're not happy with a relationship that you can leave that relationship for whatever reason you want. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to leave a relationship.
Of course.
But it also seems awfully fishy that OP thinks that this relationship would be perfectly fixable, but he's refusing to do anything to fix this relationship, which kind of goes against the marriage vows, right?
Right. It sounds like he just found someone else and was like, okay, I'm done with OP now. And if I had to guess, it's more that he's found a hot new thing that he wants, and it's just out with the old, in with the new.
And chances are that he's been cheating on OP for a while
now. That
now.
would be my guess.
This is why he's grown distant over the last few months, is that he's been cheating with this woman and now he wants to move her into this house. It's just gross. Maybe that's a horrible thing for me to accuse him of, but
I love rampant speculation, so.
But maybe we'll rampantly speculate for this one time. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck.
When Amber's on the show, we get rampant speculations.
We do. All right, folks, and our next letter is an update. Update, I am a 25-year-old female and my best friend, a 24-year-old male, proposed to me. I am confused and mortified. Where can we go from here? Hopefully, final update. And so basically, to summarize, OP and this guy were friends. No indication that they were ever dating or anything like that. And then one day, out of the blue, he pops the question to her. Publicly. With a crowd surrounding them, and OP turns him down. And he ran away, and she wasn't able to hear from him since. Hey, it's me, still doing okay, and hopefully this will be my last update. I need to make, granted, I thought that the last one would be the last one. I didn't say that I wasn't going to make another update unless something significant happened. That's why it's been a week, so I'm sorry for my silence. following my update post, Jordan's mom did message me back on Facebook the same day. We had a chat for a little while, and she's a really nice lady. She agreed, though, that this was incredibly out of character for Jordan, and in fact, she mentioned a few other things that she had noticed being off about him over the last few weeks. Nothing crazy, just things here and there that she's never known him to say or do. I spoke to her at length about Jordan's mental health and potential psychosis, and she told me that there is a history of mental illness on his dad's side, including parental uncle's suicide, but she doesn't know all that much about it because they've not spoken to one another in quite a long time. Our conversation lasted about an hour, and I showed her Jordan's texts, and she agreed that they sounded quite manic, regardless of how coherent they were. A lot of people also asked if he had told our mutual friends and acquaintances that we were dating. I did message our mutual friends, our dorm mates, etc., and they all basically said that they have no idea what I'm talking about. So it seems that he's just sort of having these thoughts by himself without expressing them. I don't know how to get in contact with his close friends that we don't share, so I can't really ask them. Well, anyways, for a few days that was that. Until yesterday evening anyways, which is when the big positive, depending on how you see it, update comes. I got word from Jordan's mom that he had been detained under Section 136 by the police. For anyone not from the UK, or who, like me, doesn't know what that is, from what I can tell, it basically means that he was suffering from an obvious mental health disorder in public, with their behavior concerning enough that they're a danger to themselves or others, and the police think that they need immediate and urgent care. What I know from here is pretty minimal. I'm not sure where he was taken to, but his mom said that he would be there for the day while they performed a mental health assessment. So I assume that's what they're doing today. She said that essentially he had been out in the streets yelling about things, she didn't specify what, and intimidating other people on the streets. He was throwing things around and generally causing a lot of issues. Police got called because people thought that he was drunk. They established that he wasn't, not sure if that's just from how he was acting, breathalyzer, etc. I honestly don't really know how all that works, and that's all I know. His mom and I again had a chat, and we sort of assumed that his mental health and psychosis is likely right. The rejection of the proposal probably set him into a spiral of getting worse in the last few days, bringing us to where we are now. I do feel pretty awful about that. I'm doing my best not to blame myself, but it's hard not to feel like I caused it. Either way, he is currently with the police / mental health professionals, etc., and is being assessed. I don't know how the system works, so I'm not sure what will happen beyond that point. If someone with more knowledge wants to chime in, please do. I'm hopeful, though, that this will mean that Jordan will be able to get some help for whatever he's currently dealing with. My hope is therefore that I won't need to update it again, and this can end here. I have yet to speak to the university about the situation just yet, not really sure how to / if I should approach that, so I'm leaving it be for now. This has been a whole lot of emotions, and I'm really appreciative of the help that everyone has had on my last 2 posts. Again, I won't update again now unless something major happens, but I highly doubt I will learn much more. Thanks again, everyone, and thanks for following along. It's been really reassuring to have the support and the people with way more understanding than what I have to help me. All right, folks, what do you think of this update?
I mean, I really hope that Jordan is able to get the help that he needs. I hope that OP is able to realize that it's not her fault, that when people have mental health crises, like, some action may trigger them, like, but that doesn't mean it's your fault. Like, the problem is not with you. They are struggling with something internally, and something else could have set that off as well. Like, it's just kind of a chain of events that happen. So, yeah, I really, really hope that Jordan is able to get some good help, and OP is able to feel better about things.
Yeah, I mean, this situation would be a little bit different if OP had been actively, like, bullying, harassing him or something like that and pushing him into, like, a bad mental state. But this completely came out of the blue, so OP has no responsibility here. Like, he's clearly suffering from some kind of issue here, and I'm really glad that he's going to be able to get the help that he needs and that he's in a place where they're offering him a helping hand, right?
Right, but you can't just, like, acquiesce to someone's demands just because they may be mentally ill. That's not a healthy thing, and, like, you can't hold yourself accountable if then their mental health worsens.
Yeah. other people's actions are their own, and it's not your responsibility how other people act.
Right. And again, they may not be fully in control, like calling the shots all the time, but that also still does not place the blame on you.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did Jake tear the back off of his computer?
Well, Jake tore the back off his computer because he thought he saw aliens back there.
He was hungry and he heard there were chips inside.
Oh my goodness, Jake. No. Bad Jake. Those aren't the right types of chips. And I have Earl Grey. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior!
Happy Friday, Junior!
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Folks, Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a haiku.
Okay, it's kind of. He had it coming. He had it coming. Only had himself to blame. I had to count one word to get the syllable count to work, but...
I guess it's a new version, a haiku version of He Had It Coming. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!